to date and presumably finished 911. Okay, so the last time I watched 911, I got up to about halfway through season 5. So while I was binging it, I decided to take some notes on my opinion of this TV show. Let's go. Okay, so I don't remember the pilot of 911. It's a whole other vibe to what I actually remember watching. Like, the pilot just seems kind of different to the rest of the series. When I originally started watching the show, it aired on Channel 7, and then I stopped for whatever reason before deciding to re-binge for the upteenth time. Turns out, I despise sex addict Buck. Self-diagnosed sex addict Buck. Look, I completely understand that sex addicts are a real thing, and they deserve treatment and care, but self-diagnosed sex addict Buck was not needed in this story. I also remember being excited that they finally wrote off Abby, and now, as I watched the series, I remembered why. She latched onto Buck during a moment of his weakness, then has the nerve to act like he's the problem by the end of their relationship. Abby was not needed. She could have just been flicked out of the story. Turns out, I didn't like season 1 at all. I felt like they had expected the audience to know the characters before they even had a chance to be on screen. At least with 911 Lone Star, they allowed the characters to organically flow. Also, what the fuck is with season 1 making Buck and Captain Nash feel like they were the only 2 firefighters? I thought firefighters had a minimum of 6 people, not 2. Okay, so season 1 made the characters all feel like they didn't deserve our attention. It just felt too chaotic and almost mismatched with each other. By season 1, episode 6, I felt like I had been watching forever, even though it was just only the beginning. Like, the whole first episode so far had just dragged on. Holy crap, season 1 makes me feel like I've watched so many seasons in one hit rather than just 10 episodes. Because it only ran for 10 episodes. By season 2, it was definitely a lot better. Everyone clicks and feels like they naturally belong. Though I did get confused. I kept thinking Hen and Chimney were firefighters, but they constantly alternated between firefighter and paramedic. I know you need training for both, but I thought you had to pick one or the other. I get that 911 is a fictional show, and I get that it didn't necessarily need to play by real-life emergency situations with their cast, but I didn't think that you could be both paramedic and firefighter. I always thought you had to pick one or the other, even though your training would be similar. I think I figured out the reason why I struggled with season 1 was because they're shoving too many stories into a short window. It feels longer than it needed. They also struggled to allow each character to shine. It almost felt like each character was trying to fight, for their moment, and the only time they seem to work is when they're during an emergency moment, such as being out on rescues. By season 3, it started to look 10 times better. By the end of the season, I was able to be attached to the characters a little more, and they seemed to be playing a lot more as a team. By season 5, I was more interested in the show. It felt more personal, it felt more raw, it felt like everyone was trying to give each other space while being together. Unfortunately, when they did call back to past seasons, it did make me feel like I was a bit lost on who was who, because I had forgot about that one episode character that needs to be shown season later, such as the man that beats Athena to the pulp of her life. The house rapist or whatever it was. I completely forgot who he was, so when it came to him reappearing, I was like, who are you again? Do I need to care about you? Another thing that really bugged me is Michael's storyline. Now, I understand that he eventually got written out, but I felt like that once Michael moved out of Athena's house, he wasn't really necessarily needed. And, like, the same with Harry. Like, I get that Harry being in Athena's house, he lived there, so he kind of needed to be there. But at times it felt like Harry just was, like, there. At least with May, she had a reason to be in the show because she was part of the dispatches, or she was part of, like, Athena's procedural experiences. Harry was just there to be kidnapped, or just to be the glue to give you enough reason to care about Michael. Okay. Also, I absolutely love Gavin McHugh. He is so adorable. I've never seen cerebral palsy represented on screen before. So I love how it felt positive and how it felt. I was scared when his character went through a tsunami. I was scared in all the situations that he went through. And it was just really good to see his character have incredible shining moments and not just shoved in there to be like, here's your disabled representation. It's not like, no, he deserved to be there, and he showed the world how amazing this little boy is. I want to find more stuff with Gavin in if he's still acting after this series. Okay, also, I hated how depressing Maddie's storylines got. Every time we thought she had a happy moment, we'd get pinned down with the worst stick ever. Her journey was so tough to sit through at times. From her domestic abuse storylines to her postnatal depression storylines. Like, I was like, damn it, can this girl catch a break? Like, I just want to wrap Maddie up in bubble wrap and just comfort her. And I was happy that she got a happily ever after. Okay, so I love how season 5 wrapped up for the whole series. Like, it just felt like season 5 was a perfect way to end. Though, as we got into season 6, I ended up absolutely loving season 6 and watching it with every chance. You know, I just took it all. The journey it took with the characters and showing how they struggle with personal and work issues, not just amongst each other, but also with outside elements. It had made me feel like I was on a roller coaster of emotions. Like, just dealing with elements that I felt like weren't shown in previous seasons, and it was just amazing. I never quite understood what the point was of writing in Lucy and Robbie, but at least Robbie felt like he belonged, whereas Lucy just came in to stir trouble. Like, what, she was in a total of 3 episodes? What was the whole point of Lucy? Oh, it's a female version of Buck? Okay, but, like, we didn't need her. She was, like, not needed at all. I'm also, the ending to season 6. I'm all for Bobby and Athena finally getting their cruise, but that last scene just felt odd. It could have just ended as soon as the firehouse bell rang. Like, we didn't even need Buck and his new girlfriend kissing. We just needed, like, they reminisced on their future elements. Like, that was perfect to end on that meditation scene. I know that season 7 has been greenlit, but obviously with the writer's strike and the actor's strike currently going, it's on hiatus and we're not sure what's going on. So I'm intrigued to see how season 7's gonna go. But also, I feel like 6 seasons is enough. Like, no offense, but season 5 felt like it had wrapped up the series, and season 6 was like, here's your happily ever after for the audience. Here's what the audience was really wanting from our characters. Like, I don't think there's a need for season 7, but obviously with the fact that it's greenlit, it will be interesting to see where it goes from here, but like, I don't know where you can go. Besides showing us everything that we kind of already knew, like Buck has a girlfriend, and he's now like a surrogate dad. By the way, that scene was really adorable. Just Buck watching the birth of his like son. Like, that was really cute. I would like to see Buck be a daddy, but like, I want him to be happy too. Hannah and Karen are adopting another kid. Like, there are some situations that I would love to see, but there's also some situations that I'm like, will you just be repeating yourself? Because there's only so many storylines that you can go through, and I feel like season 6 was the last of this season. Like, it should just stop there, but like, I don't know, man. That's just my little opinion. So that was my little 9-minute wrap-up of 911, what I thought of it while binging the whole 6 seasons. Like I said, I originally started watching this when it's aired on free-to-air TV on Channel 7. Then I stopped watching it. But yeah, the binge was worth sitting through, but I definitely prefer the latter seasons compared to the earlier seasons. So, I don't know. Something happened between those seasons that someone was on the right track by season 3, but the first 2 seasons were very shaky.